Hey, back at you again. I just was thinking about some things. I'm still in here, with a slight headache, but still working. But I'm thinking about some things that really are beginning to like make me think. We, as the body of Christ, we tend to operate recently on the culture of fear. Everything that happens, we want to use the culture of fear, and the culture of fear actually profits from the culture of fear. So I'm thinking and watching how it is that we're beginning to deal with people. We're supposed to be fruitful and multiply. Well, I don't just look at that as just being be fruitful and multiply sexually, but also be fruitful spiritually, socially, emotionally, everything, and multiply. But the problem is we take one or two quick churches, quick things, and we say, well, this is what it's going to be. This is how it's going to go on. We're just not going to handle it that way. But don't you know, when we don't do it like God said, we bring judgment on ourselves. So what am I saying? The United States has a problem. Most people, and I will be very straight when I say this, many people of European descent have a problem. They think that they're going to lose something here, whether it's from another person, another group, another country, or whatever. But my question is, maybe if the Native Americans had been a little bit more cautious, America may not have been in inception of this. So now that we are America, we need to understand that God said, be fruitful and multiply. But in order to multiply, we have to allow children to be born. We don't do that. Why? Because of abortion and many other things. So we're not doing that. I forget the statistics, but many people are worrying about other cultures that are really, 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 really multiplying, saying, oh, they're going to take over us. Well, how about you do what God said in your country? Multiply. We have baby boomers now that are above age of retirement and everything else, so that there has to be people not only to take care of them or to provide services, because we tend to be taking care of ourselves now. And what I'm understanding, 60 is the new 40. So, we can still get around, but there's no one coming behind us. The same as a church. If a church does not multiply and give birth to new converts and disciples, the church dies. But unfortunately, we try to keep them awake. Not even living, but just awake. By having the same people dealing with dogma, having our sacred cows, and we're marching around the same walls, and we're still having church, but the ark is in Shiloh, and all of these different things. Praise parties where we learn how to do it, all these different things. But yet we have not multiplied. So what am I saying with this in essence? The church needs to stand up and speak out. Be fruitful and multiply. You multiply by having young children. And if we look at that, I'm about tired of those that are religious. They think that there's only one sexual sin. No, there's more than one, including spilling your seed on the ground. So, how about we get real with some things? We are too selfish to be fruitful and multiply. We don't want the responsibility of kids. We want pleasure when we want it, and then the responsibility may stop us from getting pleasure and all that. Okay, fine and dandy, kicks and giggles, ups and downs, it is what it is. But I've had someone ask me about masturbation. They say, well, how is that a sin? Well, it's a sin, first of all, because you have to have a frame of reference on what you handle your business over. So if it's your wife, why would you need to go to such a level if your wife is commanded to satisfy you and you commanded to satisfy your wife, except in times of fasting, but then you come together again after agreeing to fast and even fast from those things of marriage, you come together again quickly lest the enemy will tempt you. So here we are again. We're looking at a sterile society. We won't even go with that. Then we'll go to the birth control. Am I saying birth control is wrong? Not even. But when you use abortion as a form of birth control, and birth control as a form of not getting hemmed up with a responsibility outside of the covenant of man and woman in marriage, then there's a problem. So why else do they use birth control? Because of adultery, because of fornication, just because of promiscuity, everything. Well, I once heard someone, it was the old lady, I guess it was a granddaughter, she was saying about why she needed birth control and how much it going to cost. And the grandmother said, it ain't going to cost you that much, it cost you about $2. And she said, Grandma, no, it ain't cost. And she said, no, it cost you about $2. She said, well, I need the pills. She said, well, first of all, you don't need to be doing them. She said, but I'm of age. She said, okay, I'll tell you what, it still costs you $2. And the girl said, well, how is it going to cost me just $2? She said, you go down to the drugstore, you get you a bottle of aspirin, and you take one out, and you put it between your knees and keep your knees closed. I hollered. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, no, she didn't. All of it Walmart. I said, okay. But she had a point there. We act like we can't control ourselves, but when these things are coming, we have to. So what am I saying now? We need to multiply, because we don't have the replacement population for those that are leaving the earth. We don't even have the basic one leave and one come. We don't even have it. And even if one leaves and one come, guess what? It's the years in between that's the development that there's still not going to be anything going. So when God said be fruitful and multiply, he's like, he keeps it going. Maybe we need to go back and look at that and stop being a sterile society. And then I could quit hearing people saying about who having babies, about who having abortions, and about this social group, about this religious group that, they're going to outgrow us because they're having all these babies, they're coming at our women. Well, ain't coming at my women, but then again, we good with children. We real good. And grandkids. And prayerfully, no great-grandkids just yet. But I want all of you to understand that when God said, be fruitful and multiply, he meant for us to multiply to continually subdue the earth. Not just a couple of places in the garden, or maybe just in the first, Baptist Costal Holiness Church behind the chicken shack, church building, or, he didn't mean for us to only do it to occupy church. He meant for us to occupy the world. And he also meant for us to expand the kingdom, not build the church. He said he would build the church. We are to expand the kingdom. So why don't we think about that a little bit? I got to go walk these dogs because they're in here acting up now. I was going to let you see my buddies, but they got busted haircuts. That ain't my calling to do no dog grooming. They got busted haircuts, but they kind of like it because I give them a treat and everything with it. And they be happy after it. But y'all pray for my dogs. Glad that, they don't have to do that. God bless you. I'll holler at you in a few.